A while back, I noticed something strange about the people I knew who actually stayed lean and energized into their 40s and 50s, and it had nothing to do with the gym. They had all quietly swapped their normal morning coffee for one simple thing: protein coffee. Same cup, same caffeine, but with a scoop of protein blended right in. I thought it was a gimmick. Then I tried it every single morning for a stretch, and what happened to my energy, my cravings, and my afternoons genuinely surprised me. There is also one small change I made in how I drank it, a tiny detail most people get wrong, and that detail is the reason it worked as well as it did. I'm going to walk you right back to it. But hold on, because if I tell you the trick now, it will not mean anything. First, you need to see what protein coffee actually does inside your body once it becomes a daily habit. Almost everyone treats their morning coffee as just a caffeine delivery system, and that one assumption is why most people crash by mid-morning. We pour the cup, we get the jolt, and we walk out the door running on nothing but stimulation on an empty stomach. Here's what nobody tells you. Caffeine on an empty stomach gives you a fast, sharp lift and then drops you just as fast, often right before lunch, which sends you straight to the snack drawer. Protein coffee changes the entire shape of that curve. By adding protein to the cup, you turn a quick spike into a slow, steady release that holds for hours instead of minutes. Same caffeine, completely different ride. And the first thing you notice from that steadier ride shows up in a place you would never expect. If you are someone who feels weirdly hungry an hour after breakfast, protein coffee fixes that faster than almost anything. And the reason is simple chemistry. Protein is the most filling thing you can put in your body, far more than the sugar or milk most people stir into coffee. So when you start your day with 20 to 30 grams of it dissolved in your cup, you send your hunger hormones a clear, early signal that you are fed. The result is that the bottomless morning hunger, the kind that makes you raid the kitchen by 10, quietly disappears. You are not using willpower to skip the pastry, you just are not hungry for it. And that lack of hunger sets off a chain reaction that touches the one thing everyone in this niche actually cares about. Here's the part that genuinely surprises people. When your morning hunger vanishes, your whole day naturally rebalances itself without you trying. Because you are full and steady through the morning, you stop grazing on the little snacks you used to forget you even ate. You arrive at lunch calm instead of starving, so you eat a normal amount instead of inhaling everything in sight. None of this feels like dieting. It feels like the constant background noise of when do I get to eat next finally went quiet. Food stops running your morning, and when food stops running your morning, something shifts in how you actually feel hour to hour, which is the benefit nobody puts on the label. Most people drink coffee for energy and have no idea they have been getting the worst possible version of it until they feel the difference. With plain coffee, your energy is all peaks and valleys, wired then drained. With protein coffee, because the protein slows everything down, that same caffeine gives you what I can only describe as clean, level energy. No jitters, no 2 p.m. wall, no desperate second and third cup just to stay upright. You feel switched on and calm at the same time, which sounds like a contradiction until you have actually had it. That steadiness is not just pleasant. It is doing something important to your body that goes far beyond how your morning feels. There is a reason athletes and lifters guard their protein so carefully, and protein coffee sneaks that same advantage into people who never set foot in a gym. Your muscles are not just for show. They are the engine that keeps your metabolism running and your body strong and capable as you age. The problem is that most people, especially past their 30s, eat far too little protein, particularly in the morning. Starting your day with a protein-loaded coffee quietly closes that gap, feeding your muscles first thing instead of leaving them starved. Over weeks, that steady protein helps you hold on to strength and tone that most people slowly lose. But protecting your muscle is only half of what is happening, and the other half affects how you look in the mirror. If you have ever lost weight only to end up looking soft and deflated instead of lean, protein coffee is quietly working against that exact outcome. When the body is short on protein and you cut back on food, it doesn't just burn fat, it eats into your own muscle, and that's what leaves people looking drawn and tired rather than firm. Keeping your protein high, starting with that very first cup, tells your body to hold the muscle and reach for the fat instead. The difference over time is not just a smaller number on the scale, it is the difference between looking shrunken and looking solid and healthy. And there is one more effect of that daily protein that almost nobody connects back to their coffee. Ever wonder why some people seem to recover from everything faster, sleep better, bounce back quicker, while others feel beat up all the time? A steady protein intake is a huge hidden piece of that, and your morning cup can be where it starts. Protein is the raw material your body uses to repair itself. Your muscles after movement, your tissues overnight, the constant quiet maintenance you never see. People who keep it high tend to feel more resilient, less achy, more able to do the things they want without paying for it the next day. Getting a real dose in first thing gives your body a head start on that repair before the day has even begun. So far, this all sounds almost too good, which is exactly why I need to be honest about the catch. Here's the part most videos conveniently skip. Protein coffee can absolutely backfire, and the way most people make it is the reason it does. Walk down any aisle and you will find sugary, flavored protein products loaded with junk. And if you blend one of those into your coffee, you have just undone the entire point. Now you are drinking a milkshake pretending to be a health habit, spiking your blood sugar and feeding the very cravings you are trying to kill. The fix is simple, but it matters. A clean, unsweetened, or lightly sweetened protein blended into real coffee, nothing more. Get that wrong and protein coffee hurts you. Get it right and it changes your morning. And getting it right brings me
straight back to that small detail I promised you at the very start. So let me take you back to the one thing I changed about how I drank it, because this is the detail that separated nice idea from actually worked. For the longest time, I drank my protein coffee the second I woke up, on a completely empty stomach, the way everyone does with normal coffee. It was fine, but the morning I started doing one small thing first, everything leveled up, and it cost nothing. Before that protein coffee, I drank a tall glass of plain water. That is the whole secret. It sounds almost too simple to matter, but the reason behind it is what makes the protein coffee finally do its full job. Here is why that glass of water before the coffee changes everything, and almost no one does it. After a full night of sleep with no fluid, you wake up mildly dehydrated, and your body cannot tell the difference between thirst and hunger, so it screams for food when it actually just needs water. Drink the water first, and you shut down that false morning hunger before it even starts. Then the protein coffee lands on a hydrated, calm system instead of a parched, stressed one, so the protein absorbs better and the caffeine hits cleaner with none of the jitter. Water, then protein coffee, in that order, every single day. That tiny sequence is the difference between a cup that helps a little and a cup that carries you all the way to lunch feeling unstoppable. And once I locked in that order, the real price showed up, the one I was not even looking for. The thing I actually got from this was never about appetite or even energy. It was about no longer feeling like a slave to my own cravings. For years, my mornings were dictated by hunger and the next snack and the next coffee just to function. Once water and protein coffee became my routine, that whole frantic relationship with food in the first half of my day simply dissolved. I felt steady, I felt clear, I felt in control of my morning instead of chased by it. And that calm, that sense of finally running my own day instead of reacting to it, is worth more than any single benefit on this list. It is also the exact reason I'm going to tell you where to start, because starting is easier than you think. So here's the whole thing in one move you can do tomorrow. Drink a glass of water the moment you wake up, then blend a scoop of clean protein into your normal coffee and notice what your hunger and energy do by mid-afternoon. That is it. No new diet, no gym, no expensive plan. Water first, then protein coffee, every morning, made with something clean instead of sugary. What happens if you drink protein coffee every day done right is steadier energy, fewer cravings, protected muscle, better recovery, and a calm in your mornings you forgot was possible. It is one of the smallest changes you can make and one of the few that you'll actually feel on day one. If this opened your eyes to what your morning cup could be doing, send it to the person you know who runs on 3 coffees and a prayer and still crashes by noon, because they are 1 cup away from fixing it. And then watch this next, because the way most people ruin their coffee has nothing to do with the coffee itself, and I'll show you exactly what to change.